Hey guys, welcome to my annual video. This might be the stupidest one I've ever made, but I can't help it. I've been borderline obsessing over this one specific poster for a while now, and it's driving me insane. In case you didn't know, it was the one I pasted several times in the thumbnail. But before I overanalyze the poster to heck and back, I thought I would give some context as to how I even found this poster in the first place. So, a few days ago, I was walking around my school before the first class of the day started, when I looked at this one teacher's door. I don't even know what the teacher's name was, or even what they taught since I've never been to that class before, but I do remember that I saw this poster. Now, it wasn't the realistic Photoshop one that floods all the search results for mindset is everything, but it was some crappy vector version that looked like it was drawn by an old friend of the channel, Success Pictures. Actually, that's an insult to Success Pictures because while doing research for this video, it turns out he actually did make his own ripoff of the poster, and somehow his version actually looks better than the one I saw. I would have gotten a picture of the strange variation that the teacher had, but every time I walked by the class, the teacher was always in the classroom with the door open. Due to social anxiety, I simply don't have the confidence to casually walk into the room, get a good picture of the poster, ignore the teacher asking what the heck I was doing, and leave without elaborating. Also, the window had some design on it that blocked part of the poster. I did get a low quality shot of the poster from afar, but I decided that I would just recreate it myself. Ta-da! Beautiful, isn't it? I know, I'm literally the next Leonardo da Vinci, no need to rub it in. Anyway, I thought I'd start the dissection with the part I actually kinda sorta like about this. The actual message of the motivational poster. Since it's only 3 words, the message remains very simple and easy to understand. However, this simplicity ultimately comes to the message's detriment. Really? Mindset is everything? I would agree that a mindset is a major factor in one's success rate, but not the only one. Allow me to bring out the supreme destroyer of motivational advice, the daunting cliff. If I completely, with all my heart, believe that I can fly, and I jump off that cliff flapping my arms like a chicken who just got poked in the butt by a broom, then should I not be able to glide across the sky for the rest of eternity? Shouldn't anyone be able to do this, no matter the age and physical capacity, as long as they truly believe in themselves? What is this, a Christmas movie? Don't you dare give me that stupid, but they could fly an airplane and that counts as flying because it's obviously the same thing. Garbage. I think we both clearly know what I meant. I wanted flesh wings, not metal ones. Maybe some of you wanted a more grounded example. Okay, no more cliff diving, or I guess cliff flying? Either way, you're no fun. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that there was an art contest. Now, for the sake of simplicity, only 2 people submit drawings to this contest, both on the last day. Assume it was poorly advertised or something. The first submission is from an indifferent artista. He's been drawing for several decades now and just finished a massive art project a few days ago, and while wanting to start a new project is still a little burnt out. He stumbles across this art contest, is about to click off, but then notices literally no one else has submitted anything. The vulture he is, the professional artist's brain salivates at the sight of such a weak prey, but he just can't be bothered right now. Ow! Alright, you asked for it, no more computer stuff. Anyway, there's only a few hours left until submission closes. Fine. Might as well throw something together real quick. Here's a quick sketch. $300, end of story. Or maybe not, because miraculously, at the last moment, seconds before the submission deadline, little Timmy submits his own chicken scratch that he calls a drawing. But how did he even hear of the contest? Well, his mom was in the middle of her 5th Facebook scroll of the day when she saw a post from her second cousin's brother promoting the contest. She went up to her son and said, "You remember Al, right, Timmy? We saw him at his brother's funeral last year. You know, the guy that was crying?" The mom then says this really specific mom phrase in her mom voice that sounds a little like, "Oh, that would be great if you did that contest." His mother gives him some inspiring speeches and promises of a cash prize, and Timmy goes hyper mode. He may have only drawn enough times to count on his 3 little hands, but he really cares about this contest now. He spends what feels like an eternity sketching what matters most to him. Family. Aww. Unfortunately, Timmy has no talent, and let's just spare his feelings and get to the point of the story. Assuming that second nephew nepotism doesn't exist, I would bet my life savings that 10 times out of 10, the bored artist would beat the excited Timmy in the art contest. Passion simply cannot replace high levels of skill. You can't consistently pour out masterpieces without nailing down the basics first, no matter how many shark fin adorning goldfish tell you otherwise. Speaking of, what even is this poster? On a surface level, I guess it makes sense. The tiny, weak goldfish uses the power of mindset to be a strong, scary shark. Yeah, so empowering. But my first question is, where did the goldfish even get the shark fin? Did he actually murder a shark and fashion his dorsal fin into an awesome bike helmet? If so, that's metal. You deserve this win. You go, king. But then another question arises. How did he even put on the shark helm? This isn't like Shark Tale where the fish are actually creepy human-fish Smith hybrids. This is your regular, everyday goldfish with no opposable thumbs, or even fingers for that matter. How did he put the hat on? Did it happen to accidentally land on his head? Or did someone else put it there? If that's what happened, then the message shouldn't be mindset is everything. It should be you are whatever people say you are. My next concern is about the analogy part of the poster rather than the physical impossibility. If the goldfish is supposed to represent a person, what does the shark represent? Another person? That's a rather grotesque implication, no? If you're ever unhappy being poor, oppressed, or a minority, the simple solution is just to gore some rich white guy and wear his head as a hat and voila! You've pretty much transformed into that race, sex, and class. I just love living in a world where every problem can be reduced to such a simple analogy. Okay, no, seriously, the implication that in order to be successful, you must pretend to be someone else instead of carving your own path to success is terrible. I can't really connect the human theory to the actual quote at all, so maybe that's not what the fish represent. Okay, let's say the goldfish represents a failure of a person, while the shark represents success. The implication still remains that some people are inherently bound to fail, and instead of making themselves into a successful person, must only pretend that they are successful. And then if you replace failure of a person with just failure, it instead changes to mean that you should cover up your failures and only let people see the successful part of your life. What is this, social media? Also, side note, holy crap, I seriously cannot think of an actual positive interpretation of the poster that doesn't crumple apart after 5 seconds of thinking. Speaking of thinking, I just started doing that again, and realized that the size of the shark fin does not match the size of the goldfish. The average goldfish is 12 to 20 centimeters long, and the average great white shark, the dorsal fin appears to be from one, so that's the species I'm going with, is either 3.4 to 4 meters if it's a male, or 4.6 to 4.9 meters if it's a female. Let's focus on the fins though. Oddly enough, I couldn't find any data on the length of the dorsal fins, only the height, which can be over a meter, but that's not too much of an issue. The fins are nearly in the shape of an equilateral triangle, so the length is approximately going to be the same as the height. Even giving the situation the benefit of the doubt gives us a length of 80 centimeters, or the length of 5 average goldfish. The only way a goldfish would even be able to get a fin small enough to fit on its head would be to enter a pregnant shark's womb, kill the fetus, chop off its dorsal fin, exit the shark, and, most unrealistically, create that epic hat out of it. After all, goldfish are infamous for their inability to create clothing. Otherwise, the shine factories would use goldfish instead of small children. Also, I just realized that a goldfish would never even be able to find a shark in the wild. Goldfish are freshwater fish, and sharks can only live in saltwater. Let's just say that the goldfish does get the mini shark hat. What is it even planning to use it for? To scare people? The fin is about half the length of an average goldfish, so it would have to be around 6 to 10 centimeters long. Imagine going to the beach and seeing a tiny little shark fin pop up out of the water. The goldfish wouldn't even be able to convince people it was a baby shark though. I think this poster fails to realize that people can still vaguely see under the water. They would see an orange splotch and go, wait a second, sharks aren't orange. If I were in this scenario, I would 100% snatch up the goldfish and show everyone else what I found. That would be a nice 12 seconds of fame, huh? Other than failing at scaring humans, I don't really see the point of the goldfish even doing this whole shtick. It's not like the goldfish is doing this to intimidate other fish. They would never fall for it because they obviously don't think the same way that humans do. They just see that as a small, ordinary goldfish, shark fin or not. Why is a goldfish pretending to be a shark anyway? Does it somehow know about which fish the humans think are the scariest? Is this goldfish actually a human who got transformed into a goldfish by an evil fairy wanting to teach them a life lesson? I would read that story. At least in that scenario, it would make sense that the goldfish thinks sharks are the scariest fish, knows what a hat is, and tries not to throw the hat off. I don't know if you've ever tried to put clothes on an animal, but they usually aren't big fans of them, to say the least. I guess this one has just accepted his fate as forever being a poster boy for a crappy motivational poster metaphor. You know what? I'm done looking at this stupid poster. The only thing that it's taught me is that this fish needs to be put out of its misery. I think it would be best if we dealt with this poster like any other dead fish, by flushing it down the toilet.